Hello and welcome to the Pocono Speedway for Chase Race number 1 here in Season 3 2019 of Output Racing League. Race number 14 for those who are keeping score at home. But yeah, Chase Race number 1, this is where we begin our season. Well, at least this is where we begin the business part of the season. So let's go and have a look at some of the goings-ons on track right now. We've got Thomas Harmon here with Brian Pizzicami just behind him. Thomas only just recently into the server, already P6 with a 53.773. Don't think he's going to improve his time at the moment, but he does only have 6 laps in the books now. Currently Christian Budd, as we've become accustomed to, on the top of the timetable with a 53.240. He is absolutely flying as we see Thomas Harmon going around. This is the first time we've raced the B cars here at Pocono, and things are a little bit loosey-goosey. So what better way to have a little bit of fun with the boys and test out what the cars are like around here by going and doing a pit party. So let's get into it. Let's get ourselves into position. We're going to be starting at the very back of the pack.
Come on, get it turned around. They go the wrong way. Come on, get it turned around. They go the wrong way.
Wait for everyone to get sorted. I'm going to park over here just behind Mark Pentecoff. Travis Massio crashing on the track. And I think we're starting to roll.
Car inside. Yeah, we got the black flag for that one. Bring it in. Just make sure you don't cross the blend line when you're exiting the pits. Okay, we got a stop-go penalty. Car inside.
Alright, everyone playing a little bit of games here, trying to get towards the back. No one should be further back than me.
Car inside. Clear inside. Car outside. Clear outside. Car outside.
The radio on so we can hear when we've got to go.
Clear outside.
Catch up to the pack.
Slow car on bottom. Slow car on bottom. Car inside. Still on
So
the
I
left.
think we're fairly sorted out here now.
Car inside. Still on the left. Clear inside.
And we're off and racing. No warning that time. Pocono is a very different track compared to all the other tracks on the oval calendar, at least. 3 corners and all of varying profile, both in banking wise, length wise and general radius. definitely going to make things a bit interesting here. As you can see Matt Burgess on our
Car
outside.
outside. Still on the right.
And Matt Burgess just tried to turn across us and has wrecked us. That is all Matt's fault.
Car inside. Clear inside. 8.813.
Let's see if we can try and catch up to this pack a little bit here. Tyre wear can be an issue, and we could even see the possibility of shifting, at least in turn 1 later on in the run, when the tyres have gone off quite a bit. One thing that we have noticed throughout this practice session so far is that the cars can get very loose fairly soon on the run. So it'll be an ultimate battle of trying to manage your tyre wear so you don't get loose or tight. Because if you burn off your front tyres, you're going to get tight. It means that you can't turn into the corners. If you get loose, it means that your back end's just going to keep stepping out on you.
.947.
In a couple of laps, we'll attempt a pit road entry. You see now, I went a little bit too deep into the corner, burning up my front tyres a little bit, trying to get the car to turn. That's something that we could see throughout the race.
Slow car on bottom. Stay right, stay right.
Thomas Harmon pulling out of all that situation. Matt Burgess. We'll hold him up a little bit here, because of what he did to us before.
.553. Car stops down low.
Oh, and we got some drama here just in front of
right.
us. That was Derek Myers and Brian Harris was involved in that one. One thing you definitely have to keep an eye on is overdriving turn 3. It's very easy to get on the gas just a little bit too early, and you'll end up hitting the wall on exit. Something that I'm not going to allow Matt Burgess to do here while he's behind me. And he's even going to give me a little bit of a bumper up here, I think, at least try to.
5.097.
Oh, we got another one around.
Stay right, stay right.
That was Brandon Bennett making his
Clear
return.
outside, clear outside. Car inside. Still on the left. Still on the left. Still on the left. Still on the left. Clear inside.
Alright, now that we've had our fun with Matt, next lap we're going to come into the pits.
.256.
There's another thing you don't want to do is get down onto the apron there in turn 1. We saved it quite nicely though.
Car outside.
Corey Williamson goes past us. So let's head into the pits this time. See what it's like to get onto the pit lane here at Pocono. As I have burnt up the back tyres a little bit here with the shenanigans that we're ensuing. Now you want to start the entry here really early, About halfway through turn 3, we watch out for the spinning Travis Masia. Get down the speed, and that is it. Nice and easy entry if you're not trying to make up time.
Start looking for your sign.
Now let's have a look at the goings-ons around the track, and we see Jaron Sanchez going for a spin. Like he got involved with the 12 of Matt Burgess, who was flipping down the track. Corey Williamson got a little piece of that as well. So that's not good for either of them. With 13 minutes left in the practice session here. And why is it still looking at Jaron when he's not on track? Let's go and have a look at our current leader in the timetables, Christian Budd, the Dominator, 4 in a row winner. It's going to be very hard to stop this man. He has been on an absolute charge here this season so far. If only he was with us for the start of the season, he'd be in a championship battling position and he'd be pretty far up there as far as my guess is concerned. Now we see the 24 of Frank Isaacson. He's getting loose. Stay here with Frank, see if he can save it. He does. Well done, Frank. Good save. Coming up just behind him is the returning Brandon Bennett. We haven't seen him for a few weeks. He's been off doing work things. Unfortunately, Brandon not in a chase contending position either. But he is P5 in the practice standings as it stands. Oh, and I think someone blew their engine some point there just in front of these guys. Oh, was it Frank? I think it was Frank that just blew his engine. We do have another return as well. The return of the 54 Derek Myers. Out for 3 weeks with mechanical issues as he hits the apron in turn 1 and goes for a slide and into the wall. That has got to hurt. That was a big impact. We see the 5 of Mark Pentacuff on screen. He's sitting right up behind the 78 of Ryan Pizzicemi. I've got Corey Williamson, who's stuck between the 2 fast boys of our league, Christian Budd and Thomas Harmon. Thomas coming right up behind him, trying to get the outside run. Corey just doing enough to block it. Corey now coming out of turn 3, sticking to the low line. Thomas getting around him on the outside and even capturing the draft of Christian Budd. There's about 10 laps difference in the tyre life there in favour of Thomas, who easily gets underneath Christian. I've been told that Brian Harris has also got a new paint, so let's go and check that out. He is racing for a new team. And the paint job looks a bit basic at the moment, but he does promise me that he's still working on it and it's going to look absolutely awesome by the time he's done. Let's get a little bit of a closer look at it here. But let's do this. I'm going to pause it. Let's have a real good look at his paint here. Angels of Death on the side. Nice little logo there on the hood. Angels of Death on this side as well. So his Twitch on the back. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you go and give him a follow over there on Twitch. Just remember that O in shots is actually a 0. Nothing on the boot at the moment. So with about 8.5 minutes left here, I think we're going to entice these guys to do another pit party. Let's see who's going to go for it. Oh, Christian Budd. Big pit entry. Smashing the model against the inside wall. There's the two of Chris Champo having a little bit of a struggle there. But most people are going to the pits for the pit party. Still got Frank out on track. He's making a pit entry. Now we're just going to wait for everyone to get lined up and get ready to go back out onto the track. Darren leading the way. And here comes everyone else. I'm just waiting for everyone to catch up to him here. It looks like he's going to give the lead of this to Travis Massio in the 13. But Travis is going to be leading the way to the faux green flag. Everyone's getting lined up. It looks like he's going to have Christian Budd on his outside. Race car is in and they're off and racing. Travis actually with a very decent start there. One of Brandon Bennett right on his tail, sliding up in front of the 17 of Christian Budd. Travis still holding on to the slender lead that he's got right now. Jaron Sanchez on the inside with nowhere to go. He's going to slip in behind Christian Budd. We're going to set iRacing to focus on crashes just to see where it wants us to have a look at. It's looking at Chris Champo at the moment, as he is just behind a battle of Brian Harris and Brian Pizzakemi. Corey Williamson running a little bit wide, contact with Brian Harris. Chris Champo and the 12 of Matt Burgess have gone around because of that. Get back into where the people are racing. You can see the 5 of Mark Pentecuff here. Go back up to the front pack. Brandon Bennett in the lead with Christian Budd in P2. Christian Budd's just taken the lead. Travis Massey is going to slip back to 4th. Brandon Bennett still holding on to the second position though. The looming there in the background, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Just making his move around the 5 of Mark Pentecoff. Ryan Pizzicemi right in Thomas's mirror as well. They're coming through the treacherous turn 3. But for the most part, people got through it alright. Saw the 5 of Mark Pentecoff getting awfully close to that outside wall. Christian Budd been working the draft there, trying to prevent Brandon Bennett from getting a run on him. These guys are putting on a fantastic show with just 3¼ minutes left in this practice session. Although they are starting to get a little bit strung out, which is something I'm going to be worried about for the actual race itself. There's 78 of Brian Pizzicemi getting right up on the bumper of Thomas Harmon, even getting up to his inside, trying to effect the maneuver. Could not quite get it done. We saw Jaron also have a go at Brandon Bennett, couldn't get around him either. Christian Budd just pulling away from these guys like they're standing still. Two and a half minutes left in practice. Christian ever so smartly just moving himself to the bottom of the track to prevent Brandon Bennett from picking up his draft. Very crafty racer in that respect. And saying that, these guys are starting to get a little bit of a train going. This could prove to be Christian Budd's undoing here as Brandon Bennett smashes the wall. I think Travis Massey got a piece of the wall as well. Side of that Gladiator car looking a little bit flattened. Brandon Bennett recovering to fall in just behind Jaron. Travis Massey now getting very loose, which allows the 78 of Brian Pizzicemi to get another run on Thomas. 12 of Matt Burgess, fresh from the pits, is up there with them as well. Oh, and we got drama. We got everyone going around. Everyone got loose. And it is absolute anarchy. There is a huge wreck coming out of the tunnel turn. And I think this is the way that we're going to end the practice session here, guys. Make sure you stick around. Coming up next will be qualifying, which we're going to have the league video up for. And then immediately after that, we will be gridding for the race. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty guys, we are back here down at the Pocono Speedway. Just seeing some of the cars starting to grid up right now. And in a surprising turn of events, the 38 of Thomas Harmon snags the pole with a 53.152. The 12 of Matt Burgess will be starting on his outside in P2. Darren Sanchez in the 4 will be starting third, with the 2 of Chris Champeau starting from P4. The 13 of Travis Massia will be starting out of 5th, with the 1 of Brandon Bennett starting out of P6. The 57 of Tommy Bordeaux will be out of 7th, with the 7 of Brian Harris starting out of P8. The 5 of Mark Penticup will be starting out of 9th, with the 24 of Frank Isaacson starting out of 10th. The 81 of Corey Williamson will be starting out of 11th, with the 17 of Christian Budd, first person to not lay down a lap time, will be starting out of 12th. Dustin German in the 99 will be starting out of 13th. 78 of Brian Pizzicami starting out of 14th. The 54 of Derek Myers will be starting from 15th. And last but not least, the 18 of Brian Beach will be starting from P16. So that is your starters and drivers here for today. Everyone's on the grid. We're just waiting for the countdown timer to run its course. And we'll get these guys out for one solitary pace lap. And then we'll get underway here for the Pocono 60 lapper to kick off our chase for the championship. Now, to all those that need reminding about who is actually in the chase for the championship, we have Thomas Harmon, Derek Myers, Gerald West, Tommy Bordeaux, Brian Pizzicami, Matt Burgess, Caleb Finn, Jaron Sanchez, Brian Chambliss, Chris Champeau, Travis Massia, and Frank Isaacson. Your top 12 in points, and more importantly, your drivers who are all in with a chance to win the championship this season. All the drivers just getting sorted after they start on the diagonal in the pit lane there. One makes their way through the tunnel turn. One more to go, and then we're going to drop the green flag and let these guys have at it. Christian Budd, I think, is wanting a challenge with the no qualifier start at the back theory. So he's definitely going to be in for an interesting race here. Pace car makes his way to the pit road, and we are off and racing here for the first round of the chase for season 3 of 2019, round number 14 of the Output Racing League. Thomas Harmon off to an excellent start already, dragging Jaron Sanchez up there with him into P2. That's going to relegate the 12 of Matt Burgess back to third. And the 13 of Travis and Massia are actually going to challenge for that third position, as we're still 2 by 2 mostly through the pack, almost 3 wide in some places. 13 of Travis Massia backs out of it, but now we've got a battle on for P2 with the 12 and the 4. Got the 2 of Chris Champeau running very wide there in the tunnel turn, and we got a turn. The 57 of Tommy Bordeaux has been spun. And we have a little bit of cars everywhere at the minute. The 78 of Brian Pizzicami is involved. 7 of Brian Harris as well. Let's back this up and see what's caused this incident. See the 7 there, Brian Harris. I'm not sure whether he's come down or the 57 or Tommy Bordeaux's gone up, but they've come together. Chris Champeau got a little piece of that incident. Frank Isaacson car there, the 24, he's got a piece of it as well. Corey Williamson smashing into the side of the 7. We see the 78 of Brian Pizzicami got the back of Frank Isaacson there. 54, Derek Myers just sliding to a stop, not actually involved. He just got it pulled up before he made contact with anyone, so well done, Derek Myers. That was an incredible job to miss it. If Chris Champeau continued on. So we should probably look at bringing someone up for an interview. Let's see if we can have a quick chat with Brian Harris here. Just ascertain where he's on track. He's still rolling around. So we're going to wait for him to go into the pit before we bring him up for questioning. So let's just watch. Everyone except for Brandon Bennett has gone into the pits. And I think Corey Williamson has stayed out as well. In fact, I think Corey Williamson came into the pits early. So he'll get an end of line penalty for that. So we'll wait for Brian Harris to make his way back on the track, and then we'll drag him in for an interview. But he's probably going to sit there and get some repairs done, so we'll talk to him pretty much straight away. Hey, Brian Harris, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alright, now I'm not here to be a bummer on you, so turn that frown upside down. What happened there in your perspective? Did you come down? Did Tommy maybe come up a little bit? Was it a little bit of both?
Honestly, that's what I'm getting ready to look at. I think I might have. I think it might have just been one of those where we kind of he came up, and because I know the 2-car Chris was going up into the wall, and I was checking up, and actually looking at it, it might have been me. A little bit of net code as. I'll take the full blame for every bit of that.
Alright, man. Well, no worries. That's all we want to know. Anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to while we got you up here in the booth?
Shout out to the new team that I'm racing with tonight. Too bad I'm disappointing them already with Angels of Death or A.
Alright, man. Well, good luck for the rest of the race. Hopefully you can keep your nose clean for the new team and show them something impressive later on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Alright, guys. So that was the 7 of Brian Harris. Obviously a little bit dejected there, feeling as though he was the cause of the accident. Which we can't really blame him for feeling that way. But hopefully he can get that thing turned around and get some good results out of it. So having a look at the way that the field is set out right now, we got Brandon Bennett on pole. And bump drafting him ever so slightly is Thomas Harmon. But Jaron Sanchez in 3rd, Matt Burgess 4th, with Travis Massier 5th, Christian Budd already into P6. Brian Beach gaining 9 positions into P7. Mark Pentecoff 8th, Dustin German 9th, with Chris Champeau in 10th. And I'm going to say that it is Brian Pizzicami in 12th, and Tommy Bordeaux 13th, with Corey Williamson 14th. Frank Isaacson a lap down, just coming out of the pits. So Frank will be the first car a lap down. So if we get another quick caution here, he will get the lucky dog wave around. I think Brian Harris might be in the pits for a little bit there. He copped a couple of really major hits there. It is very unfortunate for the new team. I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's out there watching. If it wasn't for you guys watching these broadcasts, we wouldn't be continuing on the broadcast. You guys give us some great support just by putting the eyes on the stream. If you would like to help us out in any other way, the Twitch stream here is monetized now, so you can subscribe to the channel. And the money for that will go towards improving the quality of the broadcast. If you're watching over on the YouTube side of things, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Just thought I'd quickly get those couple of little plugs out of the way. And if you are watching on the Twitch, don't forget also to follow the channel so you can keep up with every time these guys hit the track. Or if you miss this main broadcast, you get to watch the replay, which will generally happen on a Friday night in America or a Saturday morning over here in Australia. The lights are out on the pace car. Everyone's getting ready to go green this time. Brandon Bennett chooses to restart on the inside, and he gets to control the restart too, so we're going to go when he wants to go. If I was him, I'd actually back off from the pace car a little bit. It's pretty much as soon as the pace car goes in is when the green flag will drop. And a lot of people do know that. So if he truly wants to control this start, that is what I would be doing. It's good to see Brandon Bennett back in action though. It has been a hot minute since he raced with us last. As we're making our way through turn 3. Pace car makes his way into the pits. And we're off and racing again. Brandon Bennett with a great restart there. Immediately in front of Thomas Harmon. He should slide up and stamp his authority on the position. He just generally glides up there just to cut off Thomas's nose just before the braking zone. And it looks like the 4 Jaron Sanchez is going to make his way into 3rd. We've got a battle on for the lead. Brandon Bennett on the outside, Thomas Harmon on the inside. Thomas with a good run gets the lead away from Brandon Bennett there. Jaron Sanchez clean and clear up into 3rd position. And it looks like we've got a little bit of a battle forming back here as well. The 17 of Christian Budd makes his way into 5th. And the 99 of Dustin German working over Brian Beach to try and take over what I think is 7th position. Dustin German restarted in 10th on this restart. And yep, can confirm P7. So that is some great maneuvering there for Dustin German. It looks like everyone is starting to go around the outside of Brandon Bennett. Not quite up to speed since it has been a while since he's raced due to his work commitments. Jaron Sanchez now up into P2. The 12 of Matt Burgess into 3. Christian Budd working his way around the outside to get into 4th. Now Brandon Bennett has to deal with Dustin German on his tail. As we also see a move taking place just in front of these guys, the 17 and the 12. That is Christian Budd now up into 4th. With Matt Burgess down into 5th. Everyone sliding right up close to that wall, almost giving it a rub on the way through. Now Brandon Bennett fancies his chances on the inside of Matt Burgess. And it looks like he's going to get that move made. Matt Burgess carrying just a little bit too much speed, but a little bit tight in the corner, sliding up very slightly, but it was all Brandon Bennett needed to get the move made. I thought we were just about to see something happen in the background there, but it looked like it all sorted itself out. That is the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux, who has fallen right back to the back of the pack here. He is definitely in 13th position. He's actually behind the damaged car of Frank Isaacson. As we are going to move back up to the front of the pack now. See the 17 of Christian Budd working over the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Pulls to the inside on the pit straight. And he is probably going to get the move made here into turn 1. Jaron giving him plenty of room, not pinching him down at all. As Christian Budd up into P2 after starting from 12th. So it looks like we've got quite a bit of action going on the track at the moment. We've also got another maneuver attempting to be made there. The 18 and the 99 locked in a fierce battle for 5th position after Matt Burgess has slipped down behind both of them actually. So let's keep an eye on this for just a quick second. Doesn't look like Beach is going to get the run here on German. In fact, no, he does not. He actually loses a little bit of time there coming up at turn 3. Gonna face our way to the leaders now though. 17 of Christian Budd trying to close in on the tail of Thomas Harmon. Christian with a great exit off of turn 1, something that you don't see too much of. Let's see if he can get the move made here. Maybe into turn 3, maybe on the pit straight. He's going to do it coming into turn 3, pulls to the inside. Gets the nice run on the bottom. Can Thomas hold on to it on the outside though? Sometimes that outside line in turn 3 can be very advantageous. And it looks like Thomas will hold on to the lead. Christian Budd forced to just pull in behind him and hold off for a little bit here. We also saw a couple of cars getting loose, like the one of Brandon Bennett coming up at turn 3. It's a long flat corner, that turn 3. It's very easy to get on the gas too hard and get tight to the wall or get loose and spin out on exit. As things are starting to get a little bit strung out, but the battle for the lead is on here coming into the tunnel turn number 2. Thomas on the outside, Christian Budd back on the inside. They're leaving each other plenty of room here as they're coming down the short chute into turn 3. Will Thomas be able to hold on to the lead again, or will Christian Budd get it here? Thomas for the moment holding on, using the momentum of the outside line. Can he hold on? They're coming to the line, and Thomas Harmon will maintain the lead here coming across the line. Incredible, close, intense racing going on here for the lead of this race. Christian Budd, the ultimate spoiler in the Output Racing League the past 4 weeks. And Thomas Harmon concedes the position here in turn 1. That's also allowed Jaron Sanchez to catch up to both of these drivers. So what can Jaron do to maybe spoil the party here for Thomas? At the moment it looks like Jaron might be just a little bit content just to sit there, so we're going to have a quick little look through the field. See what we got going on, see if there's anything that we want to watch. 5 of Mark Pentecup is falling down the pack at the moment. It's just been passed on the inside by the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. 2 of Chris Champeau was looking at making a move as well. Thought better of it as he was getting a little bit tight there coming off the corner. Chris Champeau with a little bit of right rear damage there from that first incident. Hopefully that's not affecting him too badly, as this is a fairly aero sensitive kind of track. Oh, the 2 of Chris Champeau just got loose coming off of turn 1. Sliding all the way down to the bottom of the track. Manages to hold on though, as it looks like we've got a battle going on just up ahead of these guys. 54 Derek Myers has just moved past Travis Massia, and now the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi is fancying his chances on Travis as well. Pizzicami gets the move made quite nicely there into turn 3. Let's go back and check in on our leaders. Christian Budd moving all over the track, trying to hold off Thomas Harmon. Jaron Sanchez has dropped off the back of these two, now that they're not battling anymore. Thomas taking a very wide line there into turn 1. I think he might have gotten a bit tight. Just not quite looking after his tyres as well as Christian is. It looks like the battle here is going to start heating up for the 3rd position. Jaron Sanchez and Brandon Bennett. Jaron running a little bit wide through the tunnel turn. That's allowed Brandon to close right up on his tail. He's going to go for the move here into turn 3. Jaron on the outside, Brandon Bennett on the inside. Jaron holding on with the momentum at the moment, but I don't think he'll be able to keep holding on. Maybe he will, yet he... Oh, so close to hitting the wall there on exit. And that's allowed the 18 of Brian Beach to buy his way into this battle as well. The one of Brandon Bennett was on the inside. Brandon Beach was on the outside following Jaron. Looks like they've all gone single file again here for turn 1. Brandon Bennett running a very aggressive line there through turn 1. Going on the outside and apexing right about in the middle of the corner. Everyone else kind of apexing early and then drifting up from there. But he's going to fancy his chances here going into turn 2. Brandon Bennett gets a little bit tight, slides up the track just about in front of Jaron Sanchez. Not quite though. Brandon Bennett is trying so hard to get this podium on his return race. He does realise that we've still got another 45 laps to go though. I hope so dearly. But it's definitely providing some excellent racing here at the moment. So before we get too excited here, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue racing here for the first race of the chase, round 14 of the Output Racing League. Alrighty, we are back here live at Pocono Speedway for the first race of the chase in round number 14 of the Output Racing League Season 3 2019. We're looking out the back of the Jaron Sanchez car as we can see Brandon Bennett and Brian Beach trying to battle it out there for the 4th position. Jaron has managed to get a little bit of gap over these guys just behind him. And this is, again, one of the loudest camera angles we've got available to us. We've also got a little bit of a battle forming just behind him here. Got a 5-way battle for the 6th position between Matt Burgess, Brian Pizzicami, Derek Myers, Mark Pentecuff and Chris Champeau. Chris somehow managing to hold on to these guys quite nicely. Even with that rear end damage that he's got. Looks like Derek fancies his chances here a little bit. But one thing I have noticed is that we've lost Dustin German to the back of the pack here. Travis Massier and Dustin German right at the very back. There's Dustin. He's looking, car's looking alright. He's just looking not comfortable, like his tyres have gone off. And here's Travis Massier at the back of this pack as well. Looks like he might have a little bit of damage, but he's still continuing on. The 5 of Mark Pinticuff is locked in mortal combat with the 2 of Chris Champeau. These guys have been battling out a little bit this season. And that's going to continue on here. But these guys are locked in a fierce battle. As I said, this is for the 6th position. This is Matt Pizzicami and Derek Myers. All of these guys are in with a shot at the championship. Well, Derek slipping up fairly high there on the track. Dustin German has actually gone to the pits, so he must be having some big tyre issues there. But it wouldn't surprise me if the rounds of green flag stops are going to start here very shortly. We're going to go back and check in with our leaders, Thomas Harmon. A little bit of no man's land here. At 3 seconds behind Christian, but 2 seconds in front of Jaron. Jaron's gotten himself quite a nice little gap here to Brandon Bennett as well, to the tune of about 1.5 seconds. Brandon still locked in combat with the 18 of Brian Beach though. And just behind these guys, it looks like we had a move in the making. 78, Brian Pizzicami up on the inside of the 12 of Matt Burgess. Pizzicami a little bit sideways there coming off the corner, but managing to hold onto the position for now. To see what happens when they come into the tunnel turn. As long as my internet doesn't skip out on me, it's gonna be weird. And it looks like we're gonna be almost 3 wide here as Derek Myers was trying to get up on the inside of Pizzicami as well. Pizzicami obviously just went a little bit too slow there into the tunnel turn. Derek Myers now with the advantage on the inside of turn 3. Now it's a drag race on the front straight here, but the 78 of Pizzicami does get the draft off of Matt Burgess just ever so slightly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up the radio waves and see what the drivers are talking about when they do talk. They're not a very talkative bunch, so it could happen at any moment.
Thank you.
And it looks like we can confirm Brian Harris is out of the race. He's put a crack in the engine block from some of that contact that he received. So unfortunately, he is a DNF. But the battle is on here again for P5. Sorry, P6. Was it P5? I don't even know. No, it is P6. Derek Myers up on the inside of Matt Burgess makes the move very easy. And that's going to be the easiest move we've seen made all night so far. That's going to be Derek Myers up into 6th and Matt Burgess down to 7th. Pizzicami though still looking for a way to get around Matt Burgess. Not sure whether he's going to find one at this point in the race. Maybe if he came in for an early stop he could get away with it. But that will be something that we will remain to see. As we see several different lines as they come off of turn 3. And it looks like Jaron Sanchez is actually coming for a pit stop. He's the first one to blink here on lap 24. Let's see how he gets into his box, whether it's nice and smooth. Big lockup as he's getting into his box, but he is in the box quite nicely. He should have a low timed pit stop. Let's go and see whether Christian Budd's going to come in sometime soon. And he's not. He's staying out. Let's go and have a look at Thomas Harmon. Thomas Harmon's coming into the pits. He's coming in before Christian Budd. Going for the undercut. Let's see how Thomas does getting into his box. Matt Burgess is in the pits as well. Thomas with a nice pit entry there into his box. Looked a little bit slow though. So that could be something that will affect him later on down the track. Just have to wait and see. So let's go back and have a look at Christian Budd. See if he's going to come into the pits this time. We caught him just as he's coming through turn 3. Staying very low on the track. No, he's staying out this time. They're going to allow Thomas Harmon to get a bit of an undercut here on him. Christian Budd leaves it too long. He could end up finding himself down in about 5th place by the end of this pit stop cycle. But one good thing about this track here at Pocono is that it's a long track. So you can get a pit stop made and still remain on the lead lap, as we see Thomas Harmon and Jaron Sanchez both still in front of our leader. So is Matt Burgess. And they should be starting to put down some very rock solid lap times here in a second. As we see Christian Budd coming through turn 3 again. Will he come into the pits? Jaron Sanchez records the fastest time for the last lap and he's coming in this time. Let's see how Christian Budd does getting into his pit box. He's also going to have one of the earlier pit boxes here. So he has to go through Dustin German to get there. He slides his tyres but doesn't slide too far through the box. It looks like the one of Brandon Bennett is also in the pits to see how he does getting into his box. Nice, cool, calm and collected. As now we're going to go and have a look at the 18 of Brian Beach, who is our leader of the race at the minute. We're not going to spoil who's going to come out in front, whether it's going to be Thomas or Christian. I want that to be a secret for when they come across the line. There's actually a battle here going on for the lead between Derek and Brian. Both these guys on fairly old tyres. Derek has 2 lap fresher tyres than Brian actually. And Derek's going to go underneath him and take the lead into turn 1. And the way that I can see it right now, I think Thomas Harmon has managed to get the undercut done. So there's Thomas, and where's Christian? Just behind him. So he did get the move made. Let's go back up to the leaders here though. See if Derek or Brian Beach are going to pit this time. No, they're both staying out. Brian Pizzakemi staying out as well. Chris Champeau, I think, has come to the pits though. In fact, he has. I can see him in the background there. So it's just Derek Myers, Brian Beach and Brian Pizzakemi yet to pit on this cycle of green flag stops. Even the 24 of Frank Isaacson has come into the pits. Looks like Brian Beach looking to get a run on the inside of Derek Myers into turn 3. Not quite there enough to get it done. And these guys are coming into the pits this time. So is Brian Pisakemi. Let's see how they get into the pit boxes. We're just going to keep focusing here on the 54 of Derek Myers. Oh, wait, no, we're on the 18 of Brian Beach. See how Brian gets into his box. Oh, Derek Myers with a big slide going too deep into his box. Having to back up. That's going to lose him precious time. Let's go back to our leaders now. We're going to battle on for the lead. 17 of Christian Budd very easily up on the inside of Thomas Harmon there. See Jaron Sanchez off in the distance behind them. The race is back on in earnest for these guys. Christian going very defensive, trying to break that toe. Thomas shadowing every move that Christian's throwing his way. And even though Derek slid his box, he still maintains position over the 18 of Brian Beach. 2 of Chris Champeau there as well, just behind him. He actually came into the pits just the lap before these guys. Oh, as I saw a spinner there in the background. That was the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. No caution. Let's have a look at what's happened to Tommy. Oh, he's tapped the wall. Smashed the inside wall, and he's going to get a penalty for that as well. That is crazy. We're going to go back up to our leaders now. The 4 in a row winner, Christian Budd, in the lead and pulling away right now. Absolutely crazy stuff here. Will he get 5 in a row here? I mean, it's very possible with the way that he is driving right now. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could put him a lap down and he'll still race back and get the win. That is just how fast this man is driving. Right, now that we've gone through our green flag stops, we're going to go for a quick commercial break here. When we come back, we will continue racing here at Pocono for the first round of the playoffs here for Season 3 of 2019. We are back live down here at the Pocono Speedway. We see we still got a bit of a battle brewing here, with Derek Myers now having to face Travis Massia. Gets around him quite easily there. That is going to be Derek Myers up into P6 now. Brian Beach going with him. Travis Massia falling like a stone right now. We also have a battle going on here between between the 1 car and the 12 car. That's Brandon Bennett and Matt Burgess respectively. These guys battling over 4th place. Brandon Bennett capturing it as they went through turn 2 there. But Matt Burgess not wanting to let it go that easily, trying to battle his way back. Not quite getting there this time. Almost actually wiping out the wall there coming up at turn 3. Looks like Brandon Bennett with his 2-lap fresher tyres is taking the advantage and is going to run away from Matt Burgess here a little bit. We'll have a look at forward Jaron Sanchez. He's in no man's land. He's 6 seconds behind Thomas and 6.5 seconds in front of Brandon. Speaking of Thomas, he's in a bit of no man's land himself. 4.5 seconds back from Christian Budd. Christian just absolutely dominating right now. And we haven't seen anyone being this dominant in a very, very long time here in the Output Racing League. It's kind of scary to see, honestly. Because the way that Christian's been handling himself here has just been absolutely surgical, for the lack of a better word. And he just skillfully carved his way through the field after starting from 12th position. Worked his way to the front very quickly, and here he is pulling away from Thomas Harmon like he was just a rookie. Let's go back here and we see Brandon Bennett's pulling away from Matt Burgess now. Derek Myers just can't shake Brian Beach from his tail. Brian Pizzakemi is right here as well, just behind these two.
Hi, Tommy.
Just heard Thomas Harmon say hi to Tommy Bordeaux, who's just come out of the pits 7 laps down after that spin that we saw him have coming off of the main straight, just at the pit exit. There's the 12 of Matt Burgess starting to fall into the clutches of Derek, Brian and Brian here. It'll be interesting to see how these guys can get around Matt Burgess here, because Matt, no slow driver. In fact, he's one of the better drivers we have here in the league. But he's finding himself struggling a little bit here on these older tyres. 5-lap older tyres than what these 3 guys behind him have. And he slips up the track here a little bit. Derek Myers is going to take the advantage on that and take the inside line on Matt Burgess. Looks like the 18 of Brian Beach is going to try and follow him through. And he does in the tunnel turn. That's Matt Burgess dropped from 5th to 7th in a matter of one small little corner. The 18 of Brian Beach was actually looking very threatening there on Derek Myers as well. Can Brian do anything to get around Derek? It doesn't look like he will. The 12 of Matt Burgess actually going into the pits this time. With 20 laps to go, 12 of Matt Burgess, I'm assuming, making his final stop for the race, unless we get a caution. But let's go back to this battle between the 18 and the 54. These guys arguing over 5th position right now. See if either one of them will get the advantage on the other. But Brian Beach trying everything he can, just can't quite get a good enough run to get around Derek. Brian Pizzicami just behind these guys, almost running himself into the exit wall there in turn 3. Derek Myers actually starting to pull away from Brian Beach a little bit here. As Mark Pentecoff heads to the pits as well. And this has been a spirited little battle here also for the past few laps. The 13 of Travis Massia and the 2 of Chris Champeau battling it out for the 8th position. Chris looks like he's just started to lose the handle on the car and is starting to fall back a little bit. We're going to go back up to Derek Myers here, as he's been closing in on the 1 of Brandon Bennett. Thomas Harmon in the pits. 4 of Jaron Sanchez in the pits as well. The 17 of Christian Budd still on the track. So it looks like we are starting to get drivers making their final pit stops for the run to the checkered flag. 54 Derek Myers going a little bit wide there in turn 1. The 18 of Brian Beach right on his tail. This is going to make things interesting for these guys, as the 5 of Mark Pentecoff is providing Brandon Bennett with a little bit of draft assistance here to pull away from these guys ever so slightly. But it might not work out to his favour, because he'll probably end up getting tighter more than anything with the Disturbed there in front of him. The 54 Derek Myers though still managing somehow to hold off Brian Beach as they're coming into turn 3. But every single lap, both of these guys, in fact all 3 of them, including Brian Pizzicami, have been catching Brandon Bennett. Brandon Bennett's actually gone into the pits this time from 3rd place. But now these guys are arguing over 3rd. Christian Budd still in the lead of the race, hasn't come into the pits just yet. In fact, these guys are arguing over 2nd place now. It's not an official 2nd place, just a 2nd place on track. Actual 2nd place would be Thomas Harmon, so Thomas trying to get the undercut here, maybe squeeze himself into the lead again with the undercut. All depends on how Christian gets into the pits. Christian still not pitting yet, so this every lap that Christian doesn't pit is more time that Thomas Harmon gains over Christian. So if Christian waits too long to come into the pits, it's very possible that Thomas Harmon will have an unassailable lead. But in saying that, Christian is a very skilled driver. I would not put it past him to overcome a deficit, especially a large one, to get the win, especially with the way that he's been dominating the races. It looks like he's coming into the pits this time. The Thomas Harmon with 3 lap older tyres. It'll probably be 4 lap older tyres when he comes to the line. See how Christian gets into his pit box. We're watching intently. Nice stop in the box. Might have been just a little bit on the slow side, but it's okay. As the 99 of Dustin German behind him is blowing up. Brian Pizzicami and Chris Champeau have gone around Christian. Where's Thomas Harmon? Thomas is on the front straight. Does he get Christian? Is it coming through turn 1? No, he doesn't. The undercut was not strong enough there for Thomas Harmon. Christian maintains the lead, and he will probably skip along his way to getting the win as well. With 15 laps left in this race when they come to the start-finish line, this has all but sealed the win here for Christian Budd. The only thing that he really has to deal with from here on out is lap traffic. Looks like Chris Champeau and Brian Pizzicami both staying out at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how they affect things as well here. They're the only two left to stop in this race. But Christian Budd, clean and clear in the lead. We move on to looking at Derek Myers now as he's coming up to the back of the lap down car of Frank Isaacson. Gets under Frank quite easily, and now he's setting his sights on the one car of Brandon Bennett. And speaking of Brandon Bennett, he's actually got his sights set on the 12 of Matt Burgess. Matt with 3 lap older tyres than Brandon Bennett. And Brian Pizzicami has come into the pits this time, so he's going to surrender the lead to Chris Champeau. But Chris is going to be under fire from Christian Budd here very shortly. In fact, Christian is right on Chris's tail. Chris runs wide. Christian got a little bit spooked there coming off a turn 2, thinking that Chris was going to get a little bit loose, though he didn't, and that is now officially Christian Budd back into the lead of this race with a 3-second gap over Thomas Harmon as Chris Champeau comes into the pits. Oh, and the 54, Derek Myers has gotten around Brandon Bennett, and now he's getting around Matt Burgess as well. But the action here is not over yet as Brandon Bennett sees his opportunity to get the move made on Matt Burgess as well. So these guys are fighting for 4th, 5th and 6th as Jaron Sanchez has just slotted himself back into 3rd with Chris Champeau coming into the pits. It'll be interesting to see whether Derek can run down and pass Jaron Sanchez for this 3rd position. Jaron is having a nice, smooth, consistent race, not putting a foot wrong the entire time. Managing to hold on to this 3rd position for the majority of the race. And what's even more amazing is we still only have 2 retirements, being Brian Harris and Corey Williamson. Dustin German and Tommy Bordeaux are still in the pits getting repairs made. We're having a little bit of a look around to see if we can see anything going on that might be construed as interesting. The way that these guys are strung out, I'm starting to fall asleep a little bit here in all honesty. You see the 13 of Travis Massio working the outside of Frank Isaacson in the 24. Travis has made his way up into the 9th position here. As we now move back up to the 12 of Matt Burgess and P6. He's still holding off Brian Beach there just behind him. Brian Beach with 5 lap younger tyres than Matt. So this should be a fairly academic pass when Brian Beach catches up to him. Let's see, will he make the move coming into turn 3? Matt Burgess goes wide and leaves the space. And as I said, very academic in that overtaking maneuver there by Brian Beach to take away the 6th place from Matt Burgess. It looked like we had a car in the background going into the pits. I'm pretty sure that was the 24 of Frank Isaacson. So setting the iRacing to focus on exciting so we can see maybe where the exciting is around here. Now the 5 of Mark Pentecoff was being hounded here by the 2 of Chris Champeau. This is a battle for position. Chris with 7 lap fresher tyres than Mark Pentecoff. Couldn't get around him just yet. Gets him here in turn 1 though, as Mark Pentecoff slides up the track a little bit, getting a little bit tight. Going to be Chris Champeau into the top 10. Mark Pentecoff down to 11th. It looks like the 18 of Brian Beach unable to make a dent here in the lead that Brandon Bennett has on him. We see Frank Isaacson very wisely getting out of the way, coming out of turn 1 before turn 2. Brian Beach trying ever so hard to catch up to and overtake Brandon Bennett, and at the moment nothing he seems to be doing is working. Although the gap is closing ever so slightly. Brandon Bennett running wide here in turn 3, running very wide off the groove. That's going to allow Brian Beach up into 5th now. That was all that he needed, was for Brandon Bennett to make one small little mistake, and that is what just happened. Gonna go and check in on our leader here, Christian Budd. He's just started 6 laps to go, so he started lap 55. Been absolutely dominated again. And he's been so dominating that he even has the fastest lap of the race. And he is the only driver to achieve the mystical 52.9 with a 52.970. Which is absolutely incredible pace here. Thomas Harmon is the next closest to that with a 53.004. So he's not that much slower, but it's just enough for him to be too slow. As you can see, he's only just come onto the straightaway as Christian Budd's going into the corner. That is a 10-second gap. That's what it looks like. Now we're going to go and have a look at Derek Myers, and we're going to actually have a look out of the nose of his car here. Because up there in the distance, just in front of him, is the 4 car of Jaron Sanchez. Derek, every lap's just been chipping away a little bit of time here and there, and he is starting to catch up to the back of Jaron Sanchez. At the same time, he's had Brian Beach starting to catch up to him as well. Brian Beach pretty good on old tyres here, not burning them up too much by the looks of things. Pitted on the same lap as, oh actually no, pitted the lap after Derek Myers. They pitted together on the first green flag stop. And my chair is pretty damn broken right now. Pretty sure I'm going to need to put my chair into retirement, effective immediately, because it felt like it was just about to snap over forwards. As we got 3 laps to go now left in this race, we're going to keep an eye on the 17 here of Christian Budd, the leader of the race. And you know, what more can we say about him? He's only been with us here in the league for 5 weeks, and he has won 4 races in a row. If he wins this one, this will be 5 races in a row, and we've never had this kind of dominance here in the Output Racing League before. It's absolutely incredibly dominating display here by Christian Budd, and you know, it raises the serious question of, does anyone have anything that can beat this man? I mean, he's a 5612 I-rating driver, an A-class 3.82. I mean, I think if we do have anyone that's got anything for him, it's going to be the 20 of Justin Botello. But Justin hasn't raced with us for a few weeks either. So, you know, it's a whole fine balancing act that we've got to find someone who can provide a challenge for Christian without just being an outright dominant force, just like Christian. Which is definitely going to make things a little bit more interesting as we progress through the rest of the seasons here for Output Racing League. But at the moment, you know,
Come on, kitty.
this is the time of Christian Budd. As we see the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux just behind Christian here. I think Tommy is on fresh tyres at the moment, putting out some pretty good laps. So Tommy Bordeaux, who was usually right up at the front of the pack himself, no slouch, being a 40-45 I-rating driver, has seemed to be really struggling the past few weeks. And yeah, it's just, it hasn't been a good time for Tommy. It hasn't been a good time for Thomas. Although in saying that, Thomas has been consistently getting second place. And that's where Thomas's consistency could win him a second title in a row here. As we are working the last lap, coming through turn 2. Actually, no, this is turn 3, so we're coming up to the checkered flag here. Coming out of turn 3, down the front straight for the final time. Your winner here for chase round number 1, the 17 of Christian Budd. Moving on really quickly to see P2 coming across the line. There's going to be the 38 and your points leader, the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And coming in third, it's the league owner and operator. He's going to be number 2 in points after this race. And, you know, a great run for the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. You see everyone else starting to come across the line now. Going to go back to having a look at the 17 of Christian Budd, because no doubt here in just a second he's going to make his way to the front straight and he's going to do some celebratory burnouts. So if you guys are a sub to the channel, upgrade yourself to a tier 2 subscription and you can have access to the burnout emote. Every time you see someone burn it down at the end of the race, like we're about to see here with the 17 of Christian Bud, you can absolutely spam those burnout emotes in the chat. Christian, one of the best burnouters that we've seen here in the Output Racing League as well. But he has been an absolute dominating force. As this is 5 wins in a row. 5. Just let that sink in for a little bit here. 5 wins in a row. Alright guys, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty guys, we are back and we're doing something a little bit different here. Instead of talking to a hard charger, because we've determined that there has been no hard charger for this race, we instead are going to be having a quick little chat here to the one car of Brandon Bennett. Brandon, welcome back to the Output Racing League, man. You've been away for quite a while. We missed you, first and foremost. Great result for you here, getting a P6 after what was, a very long green flag run.
Hey Corey, thanks. It's good to be back. I took a trip across country, but I'm back for good now. Very long race. I enjoyed Pocono actually. I was just primarily trying to stay out of those playoff drivers' way there. Derek really started coming on at the end, but congrats to Christian, 5 in a row, right? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty awesome, man. But as you said, you were away cross country for a while. If you want to, you can tell us what you're up to. You don't have to. I'll put that pressure on you. But either way, mate.
No worries. So I have some experience on F-35s, so I was over there helping my company, Northrop Grumman, with some mods. So we got that squared away. Saw some alligators. No big deal. Back in sunny California.
All right, mate. Now let's talk about your return. You haven't been in the sim for a couple of months here. What was it like rejoining with the new Xfinity car and to be pretty much on pace straight away?
Yeah, so I feel like this new Xfinity car is very drivable. Here started to fall off there at the end, but it's still kind of the car control was still there. I don't know. I felt a little bit more comfortable with this car, but it's Pocono, so I feel like if you don't hit one of the corners right, your lap is messed up. So next week we'll definitely find out how good I am, so to speak.
All right, man. Well, while we get you up here in the booth, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, man, the entire Output League, you, Jaron, thanks for everything you guys do. I'm glad to be back.
All right, awesome, man. I will see you again next week when we are at Las Vegas. So it should be an interesting race, and
Definitely.
good luck for then.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. So that was the one of Brandon Bennett making a very welcome return here to the Output Racing League, and hopefully we do see more of him in the future. But now the next driver we have up on the chopping block, today's third place driver, league owner and operator, but we're asking him to put on his driver's cap for this interview. It's the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Jaron.
Hello.
Congratulations on P3. If I do know so correctly, then that means that this should put you in about second place for the playoff points at the moment. So things are looking on the up and up for you, who generally struggle when it comes to championship time. Jaron? I think we lost Jaron. Yep, we did. We lost Jaron. Well, that is unfortunate. Oh, he's back. Are you alive? Oh, I'm not sure. I can't hear him at the moment. So might just throw him back into the waiting room for now.
Oh, here I am.
Oh, wait, we got him. All right. Now,
Sorry about that.
no worries. So, as I was saying, P3 is a great position for you, because if I do think so correctly, it should put you in second place for the playoff points. And this is a real positive sign for you, considering normally you start struggling towards the serious time of the year where everyone starts thinking about points and stuff, and even in the regular season you'll seem to have a couple of struggles. So this should be a big boost for your confidence.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the finish there. I'm not sure about the points. Derek had I think 6 bonus points going into the playoffs. So him finishing third, he finished third, right?
You finished third.
I finished third. He finished fourth. He still might be ahead of me just a little bit in points, but yeah, that was a fun race. I really didn't get the feel for it until that last run, but when the last run was a lot of fun. But yeah, pretty excited about that finish.
Now let's ask you to put your owner and operator cap on for a second here. We've had a very exciting season so far, with lots of ups and downs, and we're currently going through a period of where we've got this absolutely dominant driver come in and destroy all. Is there any plans in the future of maybe nerfing his performance?
Oh, we just gotta get better and maybe get some more fast drivers in here to uh, to win a couple more races. But I'm cool with it. Christian's a fun guy. He's real fast. We can learn a lot from him, and I know he's not going to win everyone. He's fast, but we just need a couple more fast guys, and a couple of our fast guys have had a lot of bad luck too at a lot of tracks. So we'll see what happens going forward for sure.
Now, this is the first time that we've run a chase format here in Output Racing League. So far, it seems that the system is working and things are looking pretty good. What is the early plans for what we might be looking at doing next season, if you've got that inside scoop?
Yeah, this season we just did this little 5-week playoff, no knockouts or nothing like that, just because wanted to keep it simple since it's the first time doing this kind of format, playoffs and output. But next season, definitely plan to run the NASCAR schedule and do the full knockout playoffs and all that. It should be a lot of fun and a lot of drama.
All right, well, thank you very much for your time. We'll get you to put your driver's cap back on. Las Vegas next week, a very decent track for you in your skill set. Are you hoping for a good result there?
Oh yeah, Vegas is always one of my favorite places to go to. Atlanta and Vegas, right there in my wheelhouse. Those tracks make sense to me, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun at those tracks. Hope we get another top 3 finish, possibly. I don't know about a 1 or 2 finish. I don't think I'm there yet, but I'll try.
All right, mate. Well, congratulations again. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we throw you away back into the pool?
Oh yeah, I like to thank all the drivers for coming out each week. We got a real good group of guys here. I look forward to racing with these guys every week, and it's a lot of fun. And thank you for putting on the broadcast and doing such a good job. And my wife for rooting for me and watching in the other room. It's fun. Yeah, and everybody watching, thank you.
All right, well, congratulations again, and we look forward to seeing you again next week at Las Vegas.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so that was our third place getter here today, the league owner and operator, Jaron Sanchez. Great result for him this week. And now we move on to our second place driver. Once again, the bridesmaid for the race. We're, of course, talking to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas, another second place, mate. This is gotta start getting a little bit in the how's it going area. How's your feeling?
I'm fine with it. It's still first out of the playoff drivers, so I mean, I'm still gonna have that points lead, and I'm more about winning the overall rather than winning a race. But it's definitely nice to get a few race wins every now and then. Um, but I'll get Christian eventually. It's just a matter of getting up to pace with him and learning what he does and being a little bit easier with the car, so I can hang with him on a long run.
Now, we did see you were trying to go for the undercut there with the 2 green flag stops, and you did a very early stop for that final one. Were you just working that off of your fuel numbers, or did you have a solid plan in place to try and get the position?
Well, my hope was that Christian would feel confident enough that he would stay out till about 10, maybe 15 to go, um, more towards the 10. So that way it'd give me a chance to build up a sizable lead and then have him try to run me back down. I probably would have done it, but would at least give me a fighting chance to hold him off. But he come down a couple laps later, came out before me, and it was lights out at that point. It was over.
All right, man. Now we move on to Las Vegas next week for the second round of the playoffs. Is that one of your decent tracks, or if it ain't small, then it ain't good for you?
I think I ran well there last time. I don't remember. I should be okay. I really don't know how I'm going to perform there. Yeah, I don't think I've run it in these cars, so I don't know what to expect. But find out next week, and I expect at least a top 5 out of it.
All right, man. Well, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go here today?
Yeah, shout out to S2R. Good teammates. Wade for winning the championship last night. Lorello for winning it tonight in DRL. You up in the booth for broadcasting it out to everybody to view and watch and celebrate or cry, whatever they want to do. All the fans for watching every week. Jaron for putting on the league. Competitors for being here every week, and Avril for being on the hood.
Alrighty, no worries, man. Congratulations again on P2 and retaking the lead for the chase for the championship. And I will look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yep, I'll be there.
Hopefully, you'll have something for Christian by then too.
Hope so.
All right, catch you later.
See ya.
All right, guys. So that was our second place getter here tonight, Thomas Harmon in the 38 car. Now the leader of the points. The next person we got coming up into the booth literally needs no introduction except for Mr. 5 races in a row. Holy jeebus, it is Christian Bud. Christian, an amazing race again by you with only the one early caution starting from the back, and you worked your way to the front very quickly.
Yeah, unfortunately, that caution it took out some guys, and I was disappointed for them. We lap one, you just hate to see a wreck that eliminates guys like that. But so that made it easier for me. I didn't have to pass 4 or 5 cars there based on that, and then yeah, it went green the rest of the way, which is typical Pocono.
All right, now let's talk about the pit strategy here. Thomas went for some early stops compared to yourself. Were you trying to wait those few extra laps because you know that you'd have the better tires for later in a run? Or was it just you had a set plan and you were sticking to that plan?
Yeah, really, it's when you're the leader, you do have a little bit more option. I think Thomas was kind of seeing the writing on the wall for how the race was going to play, and he had to do something different, so he short pitted a little bit. But just the way these races play out and the way this car is, it just doesn't seem to benefit you to short pit, and especially if you have another full run after it. Maybe at the end of the race if you can get out ahead of somebody or something, but it just doesn't seem to work. Just don't gain enough in that short little time, and you lose so much on the next run.
All right, man. Now, looking forward to next week. We're going to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Now, because we don't know you very well, is that a good track for you, or are you a little bit apprehensive about racing there?
I guess I'm kind of old, so I've done these tracks, so many times. I don't think any of them really worry me per se. Um, it's more the car, like even this week with Pocono, this car, you don't shift. It changes just your mentality a little bit for how you drive. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of race this car will put on there. How loose will the set get? Vegas is pretty slick. If the temperatures are up, we could see a race where everybody's sliding around a lot, and that makes it a lot of fun.
All right, man. Well, while we got you up here in the booth, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Just like every week, Output Racing for doing the league. It's a lot of fun. It's a good group of guys, good group of drivers, and makes it fun to come back every week. and of course, you for all that you're doing. I'm sorry we had to put you through a Pocono race, but you're a trooper.
Sorry, you made me laugh there. Oh, fuck. Oh, it's alright. Putting up with a Pocono race is all part and parcel of the job. I strive through it. But either way, mate, congratulations on another dominating victory. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Las Vegas.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Alrighty, guys. So that was today's winner and the winner for the last 5 events in a row, the 17 of Christian Bud. But now we are going to end off the broadcast here. Thank you guys for coming out. If you're watching this as a replay over on the YouTube side of things, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this on Twitch, don't forget to follow the channel. Consider subscribing to the channel as well, because every little dollar that we get here, every cent, will go towards improving the quality of the broadcast and maybe just making things look that little bit more mint. But until next week, when we go to Las Vegas, on behalf of all the drivers, the crew, the admins, and the league owner and operator, Jaron Sanchez, I've been Aussie Sim Commentator, and we're signing off. So I'll see you guys next week.